How many of you say Red Sox? Hold your. How many of you say Cardinals? How many don't care? That's what I thought. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, Cincinnati Reds don't get in, I'm out. Are any Reds fans in here? Anybody like Cincinnati Reds? Okay, good. God bless you. All right, let's see. Now, football. Here we go. College football, because we don't care about NFL. All right, hold on. Let's just start off on the right foot. How many of you are for Tennessee? Hands down. All right, put your hands down. Alabama. All right. Oregon. Okay. Michigan. All right. Ohio State. Well, Mr. Kramer should be Ohio State. Now wait, let's be real Christian now. West Virginia. All right. We're kind of related, aren't we? Yeah. The only problem is we're not doing very good this year. All right. Girls, who y'all for? Who? Vanderbilt. Yeah. Wow. Man. All right. Georgia? Okay. All right. Did I miss anybody? Auburn. Oh, yeah. Who? Tar Heels. All right. North Carolina. Tar Heels? Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's get serious. Basketball's not here yet. I'm from the Minutemen. Yeah. By the way, go Lady Minutemen. That's a happening Thursday, right? Who's going down first? Who we play first? We got number 1 seed, right? So who we play, you know? Oh, please. Let's pray right now. We've got to beat them. We got to beat them. All right, Proverbs 1. Before we get started, let me tell you something else, too. Let's do things aren't always as they seem. When I was just a young man starting out, one of the first things I did was I built a house. And my dad was a carpenter, so some things I learned about woodworking and so forth. And I learned that, solid woods are the best. Do we have anybody that likes woodworking or carpenter? Any of you guys been around any of that? Just a little bit? I mean, you may not be great at it, but you know a little bit about it? Good. Okay, great. Yeah. Okay. And so, what's one of the hardest woods, would you say? Oak. That's right. Oak is one of the hardest woods. Oak is a hard wood. Pine is a soft wood. But when I started building the house, what was becoming big was something called chipboard. Do y'all know what chipboard is? What is particle board? What is it really? Yeah. And just kind of glued, isn't it? Okay. So it's we call it chipboard, particle board. And what it is just a bunch of mulch or sawdust, and they just take the refuge of all the boards they cut, the good boards they cut, and they put it in a press, and they put glue in there, and they make a particle board. And they say particle board is wood, and it is wood. As a matter of fact, the main composition of it is wood, and they say it's hard. And really, the truth of it is, chipboard's terrible. It warps if you get it wet. It's just a bad thing. So, but still, they call it wood. We're having trouble now with counterfeit money. That they just came out with a new $20 bill or something here just the other day, or maybe what is it? It was a new $100 bill, and because people are learning to counterfeit. I mean, these printing presses are so accurate that they're starting to counterfeit money. So now they come out. You understand where we're heading with this, because something that's counterfeit is so bad. You understand that where we're heading is, and credit card fraud is off the charts. We're heading to some type of digital format for world commerce. And some of you know a little bit about the Bible. Where would that be heading to? Can somebody tell me? If we take currency out and we go to digital format, probably where does that head to? Somebody tell me. Yes. Yeah. Mark of the beast. And they already have microchips that they can insert in your arm and your forehead, which these are the best places to scan. You walk through the door and it scans your forehead, or you put your arm down, scans it, you just keep on trucking. And we have the little scanning format over to the school, and all that. And the purpose for this is to keep down fraud and so forth. And so, you ought to go looking to make sure that what you're involved in, I'm going to get to the message in just a minute, this kind of introduction. you want to make sure that what you involve yourself in, what you say yes to, you want to make sure that it's not something that's fraudulent. And I watch people do this every day with their own lives. For instance, let me just say, you're sitting in this pew right here, and this is an oak pew. How many think this is an oak pew? You look at the ends of it. You guys know your wood. Does that look like an oak pew? Does that look like oak, white oak? I mean, does it look like it? Yeah, does it? You guys think that's an oak pew? It's not all oak. We know this is broke right here. I think that's got a little right there. Someone kind of got down too hard right there. We got a few broken pews, and you get underneath there, and you can tell, honestly, the padding is covering that up, and there's padding on the back. And why would they put padding on the back? Because that is really plywood. Now, let's do a little investigation. The way you find out if something is real or not, you do a little work. Now, I'm going to get you guys to help me out because I know you know wood, and I'm not trying to trick you. I want you to really help these people out because we're saying this is an oak pew, but we're saying that's probably plywood. Turn that light on right there, and you can focus it, and you guys jump underneath there. Now, I'm going to need a witness. Both of you get underneath there and look. I'm not just going to trust one of you. We're going to get a witness. Get underneath there. Look underneath there. Get down on your knees. Come on, help us out. I got to have you help me here. Look and see. Is that plywood bottom? Okay. Can you get up and tell all of them it's a plywood bottom? Tell them, it's your witness. Is it plywood bottom, yes or no? Yes. Okay, it really is. I was underneath there the other day. It really is. I checked that out. I was just underneath there last night. I was shocked. I thought, well, at least maybe it'd be pine or something. It's stinking plywood. I mean, I was about half ripped. All right, now let me ask you a question. Look, you guys know your wood. Does anybody else know wood? Jared, you know a little wood. Is this an oak rail? Is this an oak rail? Would you say it's an oak rail? Okay, you may be right. All right, let me ask you a question. Now, you can tell by looking at this, if you look at it, you can tell that's glued there, but that's oak, isn't it? I mean, still, if you know it's pressed together, it's oak, right? All right. Do you know for sure that's oak? Check it out. I want you really have to look hard. Get your light, get underneath there. I want you to look hard. I'm going to tell you where to look. I want you to look where they come down there and they saw it and they set this piece of plywood. I want you to look. You're going to have to look really hard, right where the corner is. Can you see that? What's it look like? Look on the top. What is it? You go underneath there and look at it. Get your light. It's not oak at all. It's particle board. I don't know about you. You're not a preacher or anything, but that rips me off. I was ripped about that. It makes me mad. All these are oak pews. I didn't buy them. Somebody else bought them. Truth of it is, that is not oak. That's laminated to look like oak. That means they glue that on there to make you think that's oak. Thank you. I'll have a seat. Now, how did they know? How did they know? In other words, these are fraudulent pews. They're not a bit more oak than a man in the moon. Matter of fact, I'd have to pull this up and look underneath of to see, but that may very well be the only oak piece on that. So these are really, we're looking about what to do about seating in here, and I thought, well, maybe we'll paint these things. I thought, well, we don't want to paint over good oak. I mean, everybody just clear out if we did that. They're not oak. They're particle board. They're made out of the cheapest wood that you can get. And so I guess what I'm saying is this. Sometimes you're deceived. Things aren't always as they seem. You look at life and you think, well, man, I'm getting great oak pews. These are going to last forever because that's the hardest wood and all that, and we got deceived. And sometimes things will come along in your life. Opportunities will come along. You say, man, this is it. This is the right thing. This is cool. But if we don't investigate, if we don't get the light on it, we don't look at it real hard and pray about it and use the light of the Word of God, then we're probably about to make a mistake. Now, the Bible is very important in your life. All through school and through your home life and through your church life, there are principles that's trying to be instilled in you so that you can make the right decisions in life. Now, these are just pews, and they'll come and go and all that. But you can make a decision in life that's going to just mess you up for the rest of your life. Somebody's going to try to get you to do something. You think, oh, this is cool, man. Maybe it's drugs. Maybe it's some illicit event that you would do with another girl or boy or whatever. And there's all kinds of things that come along that somebody may entice you to do to get you to do. Truth of it is, it's fraudulent. It's fake. It's all from the very beginning. There's just a veneer. It all looks good on the surface. I learned a lesson when I was a teenager. I'm going to teach it to you right here. I'm going to give you a little outline from one verse. I want you to look at verse number 10 of Proverbs chapter 1. I want you to read verse 10 with me together. Read it out loud together, okay? Proverbs 1, verse number 10. Let's read that out loud together. Ready? My son, if sinners entice thee, consent thou not. Let's do it again. Ready? Out loud. Here we go. Everybody out loud. I want to teach you something today. Here we go. Here's the Bible verse. Ready? My son. Say it again. And by the way, that's a command. If you read through Proverbs, what Proverbs basically is, it's a daddy telling his son how to live. He's giving him wisdom. It's a bunch of good stuff in Proverbs. Proverbs teach you how to have wealth, teach you how to keep a job, teach you how to be a hard worker, teach you how to walk with God. Here, Solomon is trying to teach his son how not to make stupid mistakes. Solomon made some stupid mistakes in life. I mean, he married a whole bunch of, I think, 600 or 700 people, women. That was stupid. Matter of fact, he lost everything because he did it. They pulled him away from God. They enticed him away from God. Things aren't always the way they seem. And there are all kinds of things out there that pull us away. Somebody may tell you that a marijuana cigarette, man, this is cool, man, you'll get high, so forth like that. And you think, well, one time maybe won't hurt. I always kind of like to know how it seemed, to be high or whatever. And the truth of it is they're trying to pull you away, trying to entice you. So what do I do about all this stuff? We could go on and on and on about different things, different lifestyles, church movements, other false religions. We're losing young people to false religion all the time because there's an allurement, there's an enticement to Islam and to Buddhism and Hinduism and New Age and some of those things. And so there's this constant enticement. It's always going to be there. I want to give you a little 5-point outline. I want you to write it down. Some of you may be writing your Bibles. If you do, you find a little white space there and write it down, because what I'm getting ready to show you, I don't want you to ever forget it. When I was a young boy, your age, drugs was off the charts. I mean, they were in the schools big time. I'm talking about pot. I'm talking about cocaine, pills, uppers, downers. I was graduating in 76, so in the 70s was called the drug culture. It was major heavy-duty deal. And things are not much different today. But America started a campaign that said, just say no to drugs. And what they were trying to get young people to do is, even though it looks good, just say no to it. And I want to take the Bible here today. I want to show you, I want to help you learn to say this little 2-letter word, no. No. I want you to write this first thing down. In this outline, first of all, we see the Christian is being talked to here. Number one, the Christian. It says, my son. We're talking to God's people here. God's people, of all people, need to learn how to say no. God expects you to say no. No is tough to say when the pressure is on and when other peers come along and people that you like to please and people that you like to be in their group. But the Christian, this is directed directly to a Christian, you need to learn how to say no. When to say no. Number two, we see the condition. My son, and here's the little word, if. If sinners entice thee. It's almost like saying, when they entice you, because I'm going to tell you what, they are going to entice you. There's never going to be a time that you're not going to be enticed, be drawn away, be tempted. So when that time comes, my son is the Christian is being talked to. Here's the condition, if. I promise you, you may be tempted before you leave this room today to do something. The speaker doesn't always, a person speaking over it doesn't always know what's always going on where you're at. And so you may be enticed to do something that's wrong today. So if it's going to happen. If it don't happen right now, it'll happen later on today. Maybe happen tonight. Maybe it's while you're watching television. Maybe when you're listening to your iPod. Maybe as you're driving home or whatever. If it's going to happen, it's almost saying when they entice you. So you see the condition there. Number one, you see the Christian is being spoken to. Number two, you see the condition. Number three, what you see here is the company. The company, the crowd, you might say, that entices you. If sinners, my son, if sinners entice thee. Now, so when someone comes along and they make a proposition to you, or they make some plea or some request of you, or they begin to work on you, you want to ask yourself this question: what kind of person is this person? I mean, what kind of company am I keeping? And I would tell you that you're never going to get away from temptation. You're never going to get away from the condition of being tempted, but you can pick your company. And so whenever the likelihood of you being enticed comes along, you want to ask the question, who is doing the enticing? Now, you know, your parents try to teach you to pick your friends, and your youth pastor will tell you to, pick your friends. But you ought to have enough sense as a Christian. You ought to choose your friends wisely, because you are what your friends are. In other words, one man said this: you show me your friends, I'll show you the kind of person you are. And so naturally, you want to keep the right kind of company. You know, here you are in a Christian school. You think, well, man, I got the right kind of company here in the Christian school, because everybody's Christians and everybody's living right at the foot of the cross and everybody's doing right. But the truth of it is, you know that's not being honest, because everybody's different. Just because a person says they're a Christian doesn't mean they act like they're a Christian. They don't always live like they're a Christian. They may not be a Christian. And so we got to be very, very careful with the company we choose. And so whenever you're enticed, if sinners entice thee, it's a no-brainer. If it's a person that is not a Christian, or if it's a person that's backslid, not living with the Lord, man, the understood answer ought to be no. You know, because they're getting ready to take you another step into something else. It happens something like this: hey, you want to come over and stay all night with me tonight? Well, if that's somebody, that's living for God and so forth, I think it's probably proper to analyze that. Maybe go ask your parents, this be okay, and go. But what happens quite often is somebody that's into something that you kind of know they are, you may think, well, if I go over there, they'll kind of get me into that too. And then that will take me down the road someplace that I don't want to be. And so if you already know that about that person, then you want to kind of back up and say, oh, no, I don't think I need to do that today, or, I got something else going on or whatever. But here's what happens quite often. At this point, if we're not keeping the right company, and this person could be just a little off just a little bit, maybe they don't watch things that's right, or listen to things that's right, or do things that's right. Maybe their parents give them a whole lot more freedom. What kind of happens in our brain saying, oh, man, things are kind of locked down at my house. Mom and Dad, we don't have much fun there. So if I go over to their house, maybe I could do something maybe I couldn't do at my house. And so wise parents are privy to that thought, and they'll usually come and slam the door and shut it down, and you don't get to go. But you want to be careful about that. You need to, at your age, you need to be one starting to say no before your parents do, because you're going to have to learn to stand on your own 2 feet someday. Wise men walk with wise men. Wise ladies walk with wise ladies. And you're at the age where your mom and dad is not going to be able to make every decision for you, and you're going to have to start making them on your own. So let's talking to the Christian. The condition is, if it's going to happen, sinners entice you. That's the company. That's the crowd. You always want to surround yourself with the right kind of crowd, but you want to make sure that you don't have somebody that's kind of drifting, that you end up with them doing the wrong things, saying the wrong things, and something you regret. Now, before I leave this point, let me say this. It's not always another person. It could be something out of the media. It could be some song, some music. It could be some particular thing that you see on the website. It could be something you see on television. It could be some movie you watch. You think that's cool, and you think maybe you might like to do that. There's always this problem that comes along called temptation that pulls you away. So you can't always blame it on a person. Somebody says, well, they messed up because they were running with the wrong crowd. They may not have been running with any of the wrong crowd. They may have been getting it off of television, or off the internet, or off some movie, or out of some song. There are some pretty popular people out there singing some pretty cool songs that are your age or just a little older than you, and they will pull you away from God. And so I'm telling you up front that for the Christian, you need to learn how to say no. Here's the Christian. The condition is if. The company is sinners. I want you to write another one down. Here's the coercion. C-O-E-R-C-I-O-N, the coercion. Here it is. This is when the rubber meets the road. My son, if sinners, here's the word, entice thee. Here's the coercion. Well, how come you can't go? Man, we're going to have a great time. Why not? Let's do it. Let's go. They just always put the pressure on. Would you make a little note right here? if you feel pressured, just go ahead and say no right up front. Somebody that's wanting to get you to do something right and you're available and it's in your schedule and you know God's pleased with it, I mean, yeah, you can start analyzing that. But if somebody just keeps drilling you, putting pressure on you girls, I'm going to tell you what, guys will put pressure on you to do something wrong. And that ought to be an automatic no. That ought to be an automatic pull your shoe off, hit him up the side of the head with your shoe, or something worse. You guys, sometimes you'll let somebody else try to get you to do something really, really stupid. Like body surf on the top of a car. Oh, yeah, man, that's cool. It may be the last time you ever do it, too. And just, I will tell you that anytime you feel pressure, the answer should be no. When I was a boy growing up, we used to go swimming sometimes in a big lake. All of us boys would take off and go swimming in a big lake. It was a very, very deep lake, too, by the way. We had this guy that we ran with. His name was David. And David stuttered. David had real kinky hair. We called him Afro. And it always came out real kinky, so we always call him Afro, which, by the way, mine comes out. I look like Bozo if I don't blow dry my hair. So, you know, I got paid back for that. God said, you made fun of him, I'm going to do your hair like that. So anyway, don't make fun of people. So anyway, I never did this. I wasn't the one trying to tempt him, but David couldn't swim. He'd go with us all the time. He kind of waded around the water. You know, sometimes you kind of act like you can swim. You know, you're kind of swimming, but, you know, David's feet was really down the bottom, holding himself up. You know, that's the cool thing. Everybody else out there in deep water and jumping off the limbs and everything. And David was always in the shallow water. And so, but David was the kind of person, because he had a speech impediment, he always liked to please you. So you could just about get David to do anything. This one particular day, some of the older boys that was in the group, they said, we're going to get David to get in some deep water. I thought then, you know, man, don't do this. Don't do this. And I remember that we had this kind of a barge thing out in the middle of this lake, and we would swim out to it, and then we would just dive off of that and have a good time all day. Well, David, he was up there, you know, in the shallow water. And I mean, I'm talking about, we were like 13, 14, 15 years old. We were old enough to know better than this. A couple of other boys were 16. They were giving David a hard time. And they said, one of them had a little rubber raft, or it was not a raft, it was an inner tube. He said, David's playing that inner tube, said, run that inner tube out here. And so they ran the inner tube out there. He swam out there in the inner tube. And then he got up on the platform there that we had in the middle of the lake. And I'm talking like it was like 12, 15 feet deep. I don't remember ever touching the bottom of this particular place. And so it was David out there, and he got up, he climbed up the ladder, and he is up there, you know, and he just kind of hanging out. And everybody kept saying, come on, David, jump in. No, I'm not jump. Jump in. Come on, David, jump in, jump in. Well, one of the older boys took his inner tube back to the shore. And then we all swam to the shore. And we said, come on, David, we're leaving. Come on, David. One of them started the car like we're going, come on, David, we're leaving. Come on, David, we're leaving. David didn't know what to do. He panicked, and he jumped. And he went under. And he came up. And he went under again, screaming and hollering at the top of his lungs. I started swimming back out there. I thought, he's bigger than me. I don't think I can help him. But I looked at the rest of those guys. I said, you know, you guys are a bunch of idiots. They felt bad. I know what you're thinking. He drowned. He didn't. We got him back to the shore. We got him back to the shore, and we did all we could. He threw up. It was awful. I never forgot that. I don't know if I've ever been the kind of person to ever try to get somebody to do something bad. But as a young man, from that point on, I never tried to entice somebody, coerce somebody to try to tempt them to do wrong. Now, you're looking at a person, I wasn't a drinking person. I wasn't, you couldn't tempt me with that. Couldn't tempt me with drugs. You couldn't tempt me with stuff like that. You know, one time, probably one of the worst things I ever did was somebody tried to get me to smoke a stickweed one time. I was putting up hay, and that was the stupidest thing I ever did. I thought I was going to catch my throat on fire. I won't even go there and tell you what that means. That's a piece of stick that's hollow in the middle, and what you end up doing is just inhaling fire is what you end up doing. That was stupid. And I had blisters in my throat. My mom said, how come you can't talk anymore? Well, anyway, I got a beating for that, and I probably should have. So I'm just not one of these kind of people that's easily tempted and drawn in. But that's because I really, really want to please the Lord. So for the Christian, there is a condition that I promise you is going to happen. If sinners entice you, they will entice you. And then the company that we keep is going to probably be the proof in the pudding that if we're really going to sin. And then the coercion is going to come along. And I want you to make this note. I want you to never forget this. If there's pressure being put on you, and you know God makes us this way. We know when we're being pressured. Now, if somebody's pressuring you to do right, like, hey, let's go soul winner, hey, let's go to youth group, or hey, let's go to church, and you feel pressure not to do something good, then you've got a bigger problem. You got a huge problem. But when someone's pressuring you to do wrong, and you can't say no, you're headed for trouble down the road. Because things aren't always as they seem. I have thought for the 14 years that I've been a pastor that these pews were oak. They're not a bit more oak than a man in the moon. And somebody may tell you someday that everything's going, man, this is cool, this is the best thing, and you may believe it for a long time, and then you end up maybe marrying that person, and then they're a jerk, they beat and thump around on you. Like the lady that was in the newspaper this morning. How many remember the DC sniper murders? The DC snipers was a older man. This has been about, 8 or 9 years ago. It was an older man who enticed a young teenage boy, and they drilled a hole in the back of their trunk, and then they used the key hole. They knocked the key thing out and kept the trunk wire down, and they put that young boy back there with a high-powered rifle, and they would go around, they'd drive that car, and that boy would be in the back of that car, or the man, and they would find some unsuspecting person. They'd fire that high-powered rifle and kill that person. I think they killed 10 people before they finally figured, and the police couldn't figure out who it was. They would use cameras and everything. They couldn't find out who the person was. And they finally figured it out. Somebody saw 2 holes in the back of this trunk of this car, and they found this could be a possibility. The wife of the DC sniper is speaking in a circuit right now, and she's telling about how she was abused as a wife and how she should have figured out early on that something was wrong with this man and so forth. I'm going to tell you what, somebody can take you down the road and coerce you and take you down the road and take you down the road and take you down the road, and you end up in some stupid marriage like that or family life. And I think about that young boy that was enticed. He's still serving time for being part of those murders. Stupid stuff. Stupid stuff. If sinners entice thee, consent thou not. Say no. Here's the command. Number 5, here's the command. Number 1, the Christian. Number 2, the condition. Number 3, the company. Number 4, the coercion. Number 5, the command. The command. Here's the command. Consent thou not. Now, the word consent thou not, that phrase is much, much stronger than just saying no. If they're really coming after you, consent thou not means this. I said no. Which means not only are you refusing to do that, you're not even going to lend your testimony and credibility to what they're asking you to do. And sometimes you got to put your foot down. I'm going to tell you why you don't do it. A lot of times you don't say no because you don't want to feel like you're not part of the crowd. And by the way, you guys that put pressure on somebody to do wrong, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. I don't know if any of you do. Maybe none of you ever do that. But chances are you probably do. Same with you girls. You girls that coerce somebody to do something wrong, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. Now, maybe you never do that. I hope you never do it. And sometimes girls will entice boys, and sometimes boys will entice girls. You should never want to do that. I'm going to tell you what, if you feel pressure, what you do is you don't just say, no, I can't. And by the way, you can be nice about it for a while, I guess. Be Christian about it. But sometimes you just got to say, no, you don't understand. I said no. And you may have to someday say, no, take me home. You may have to say, no, stop the car and get out of the car. You may have to do that. I have a friend right now that's in heaven because he wouldn't get out of the car when there's drinking going on in the car. We have dumb rules around here, don't we? We have dumb rules that say things like, if you're with the crowd that commits the crime, then you could be disciplined in school as well. You look at that and say, well, that's a dumb rule. I didn't do anything. Why do we have rules? we have rules to keep you from getting hurt as well. Parents make the same kind of rules. There's a law on the books called accessory after the fact. That means that somebody goes and kills somebody and you just happen to be there driving the car, guess what? You go to jail too. Accessory after the fact plays true even in social life, because sometimes you can be standing with your teeth in your mouth, but all of a sudden you're with the wrong crowd and you get implicated with that crowd and you get all mad about that. But if you refer back to number 3, if sinners entice thee, take a look at the company you're with. There's sometimes you just need to walk away. Just walk away. Some things don't even require a no. You just like, that's stupid, and get out. You ought to have the guts to do that. A couple illustrations, I'm finished. Joseph in the Bible was enticed by Potiphar's wife. Joseph was there, and Potiphar's wife had given him, or Potiphar had given him everything there. He did his bank accounts, did all his banking for him, counting his money. He did everything. He was the steward over the house. And Potiphar's wife was a good-looking woman. And one day, her husband was not home, and she came in and tempted Joseph to do evil. Now, I won't go into detail of all that, but I mean, she really put the pressure on. Not only did David say no, he ran out of that place so fast, they left his cloak behind, or his coat, and she used that to implicate him. Though he didn't do a thing. He was squeaky clean. The Bible tells us that he was pure. The Bible tells us. When you say, see there, see what happens when you say no? Even if you say no, you still get in trouble. Look at Joseph's life. Play it all the way to the end. And you'll find out that, yes, he went to prison for a while, but he came out. He became second in command in all of Egypt. Second only to Pharaoh in all of Egypt. And you find out the life of Joseph, whenever the final book is written, nothing bad is ever said about Joseph. Take a look at David. Oh man, David, he is cool, man. He was the king. He was all that. Yeah, David had a chance. He was enticed one time. He was up on top of his castle one night, and it was hot one night, and he was up there where it was cool. They didn't have air conditioning, and he was looking out over the banister, and he sees a lady down there named Bathsheba, and Bathsheba was not dressed correctly. In the last story, the lady enticed Joseph. In this story, this man's eyes was enticed. I'm not going to tell you the whole story. But he committed immorality with Bathsheba. And listen to this. He lost his kingdom because of it. He had a son named Absalom who ended up being a jerk. He had a daughter that went down to her house desolate because she was abused by another son, incest inside the house. It was terrible, terrible in the house of David. And God says the reason for all of that was because of his sin with Bathsheba and the fact that he covered it up. Matter of fact, he murdered Bathsheba's husband so he could marry her. You say, well, yeah, but it all worked out good for David. Did it really work out good for David? Look at all his life. The man had misery in his own family. He got his kingdom back, but never was the same. And yes, God loved David. He was a man after God's own heart, but he failed. So one said yes, another said no. How about Daniel? Daniel, when it comes to wealth, Daniel had a chance to, he was a very wise person. When he was captured in Babylon, the king came in, King Chamberlain said, anything these guys want, I want you to give them the best clothes, the best food, best everything. He could have anything he wanted. He could have been promoted in the kingdom. Daniel's friend, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. But they said, no, we're not going to do it. And then, of course, they were thrown in the fiery furnace. See there? Well, see what you say? When you say no, see what happens? They kill you. They didn't kill him, right? They got out, right? God was with them. Fast forward to New Testament. Judas. Judas had 30 pieces of silver flashed in front of him. Daniel's friends said no. Judas said yes, 30 pieces of silver. And, of course, he betrayed the Lord Jesus Christ. What happened to him? Went out and hanged himself. I'm just saying, things aren't always the way they seem. What you got to do is shine the light on it. Crawl around. Sometimes when they come to coerce you and entice you, it sounds pretty good, but you do some digging around. Sometimes your mom and dad looks at you and say, oh, you want to go there with so-and-so? Who's driving? Where are you going? How long are you going to be gone? You say, why do parents do stuff like that? And shine a little light on there. Getting on their hands and knees, digging around, asking the right questions. That's what you need to do. We just go through life happy, like, yeah. Do a little digging around. Ask the right questions. Take what you know about the Word of God, which is the light, and shine some light on it, and see if that person is being honest, being true to you. Now, I'm going to tell you something. You all are reaching to the place where you're making your decisions, you're making your choices, and God made you that way. You're supposed to get that way to where you're out on your own. And your parents and your teachers and your pastors try to help you and teach you how to make good choices, because the day's going to come when you're going to make them all by yourself and ain't going to be anybody else around. So I'm trying to show you that things aren't always as they appear. Do your due diligence. Make sure you're keeping the right company, because coercion is going to come, and you check it out and you follow the command. If sinners entice thee, consent thou not. No. Can you all say a good-hearted no to me? 1, 2, 3. No. Say it again. Learn to say no. Practice that. After you've done it a few times, it becomes just a little easier. It's never easy to say no, but you get some resiliency. And I've found that young people that say no at the right times through life, they end up doing very, very well for themselves. Let's pray. Father, teach us, Lord, when to say no. Help us, Lord, to investigate, to look at things through the light of your Word, and help us to know exactly what we're dealing with so we might make the right answer. Help us to know when to say yes at the appropriate times, we pray. In Jesus' name, amen. God bless y'all. Thank you for listening. You listened so well. Hope you learned that lesson. Thank you. Mr. Pearson. Thank you, guys. Thanks for your help.
Junior, stay right where you are, or actually move over here to the girls' side. Everybody else go back to 4th hour. Have a good one.